أنا اسمي منال، عمري 6 سنين. أنا لوحة تبعيتي في مخيم سعتلي. أنا بدي أتعلم أصير دكتورة هانسة. تلاميذها إن بعضهم الطريق كان كتير صعب وشوك وشرطان وكنا كتير خايفين. أول شغلة خسرت أبوي وبعدين خسرت دراستي 3 سنين. أنا المدرسة هي حياتي وأنا بحبها كتير وأتعلم بيها وأقرأ وألعب مع رفقاتي والشيء اللي ما بعرفه رفقاتي يعلمني إياه واللي ما يعرف إنه يعلمهن إياه.
We have seen a number of children coming in this operation, and as one of the immediate responses, we have tried to set up temporary learning shelters where children can have opportunity to come, interact, try to maintain their skills, and also provide opportunities for psychosocial support for them. Many of the families are still in the process of settling up, but we want to ensure that the children don't lose touch with issues of education. And then the critical challenges that continue to exist is the issue of availability of spaces for children to continue learning, especially as we focus on having this education response shape up to a more stable situation, which will mean we'll need to have more permanent or semi-permanent classes that can help us transition to formal learning.
The armed conflict in eastern Ukraine that started in 2014 continues to have a fundamental, devastating impact upon children, youth, school personnel, and the whole education system. During the most active phase of the conflict, many schools have been damaged, destroyed, or closed. We are now in Marinka School number 2, that is located about 500 to 700 meters from the line of contact. We think that it is important to keep schools open, even in conflict zones close to the front line when it's possible. During the situations of conflict, we must not forget about the most marginalized learners, such as children with disabilities or those without parental care. Here we have created a modern classroom for children with disabilities that will enable quality access to education according to the national standards.
أنا بحب كتير المدرسة بس ما بقدر. عاد شوف هيك الأطفال عم بيلعبوا وأنا ما بلعب بنقهر كتير مشتيروا عن المدرسة.
کرونا دنیا رو به بحران برده، مخصوصا کشور عزیز ما افغانستان را که به دلیل بحران‌های سیاسی و امنیتی این بحران را تشدید کرده. به همین دلیل اطفال عزیز ما از نعمت درس خواندن محروم شدند، مخصوصا دختران. مخصوصا در دوران قرنطینه و بیماری کرونا که تعداد از شاگردان متاسفانه عزیزای خود از دست دادن و خودشان دچار بیماری شدن. به همین مسئله باعث شده که اینا فعلا راحت نتونن در درس‌های خود رسیدگی بکنن و این مشکل کمی براشان جدی‌تر شده. و شخص خودم کوشش کردیم که در حد توان خود مشکل شاگردان را از طریق تلفن حل کنم، مخصوصا شاگردایی که آمادگی کنکور داشتن و در قریه ما اطفالی که زندگی می‌کردن اونا رو به صورت خصوصی در منزل ما آموزش دادیم.
The challenges that faces access to quality education in South Sudan are to ensure the security for the stability and to increase and regularize the salary of teachers and should be on time to provide adequate disability-friendly infrastructures in the schools and to provide even the laboratory facilities to facilitate teaching science. And lastly, to have or to provide policies that are gender responsive.
The biggest challenge is inadequate learning space, learning materials, as well as discrimination based on gender that will deny access to girls to go to school, like early marriage, forced marriage.
Es clave el protagonismo de los estados, de los organismos internacionales, regionales y otros actores comprometidos para impulsar el fortalecimiento de los sistemas de gestión, de información, de monitoreo de las trayectorias, así como también de la producción de conocimiento para la definición de las políticas educativas adecuadas.
One of the major challenges that is facing children to access education nowadays is that duty bearers are not really respecting their fundamental right to education during crisis. For example, here in the occupied Palestinian territory, the education cluster has been reporting hundreds of violations and attacks against education facilities and personnel on an annual basis. As we speak, we have 52 schools under imminent threat of demolition in West Bank alone. Education is one of the few elements that brings normalcy to children and their families during crisis. Unfortunately, education is not always a priority in emergency responses and is often underfunded. Together, we need to ensure that education is in the heart of every emergency response and is always fully financed. Together, we need to advocate that every child has the right to access quality, inclusive and safe education, regardless of their background or circumstance, and even in the most difficult situations and crises.
زیرا تنها راه رسیدن به صلح و آرامش درس و تعلیم و تربیت می باشد.
Ensuring continuity of education and safe and adequate learning environment is a humanitarian and development priority.
Education is fundamental and is really critical in determining the future choices for children. During crisis, education can be both life-sustaining and life-saving. It is a right for all children and is vital for their enjoyment of other human rights.